Hi there, it's Stephen Gilbert, and I thought I'd demo the ConceptGrid or Concept Tutor. I've logged in here to the xPST website. I'm going to go to Web Authoring Tool, and I see a variety of tutors already created. I'm going to add new Concept Tutor. So here we are. And let's say that we are tutoring some learners in a statistics course on how to type some answers about conclusions about their data. And we want them to type things like, you should reject the null hypothesis, because there were no significant differences. So I'm going to break that phrase that I would like to have into different pieces, and I'm going to start by saying reject the null hypothesis. And this is one of, I would say that in the phrase I just spoke to you earlier, there were two main concepts. One is about rejecting the null hypothesis, and the other is about there will be no significant differences. So we're going to have two concepts and two concept grids to go with them. So the first concept will be reject null, I'll call it. That's left over. So I'm going to create that, and it creates a little concept grid for me. Here's the grid, reject the null hypothesis. Now, there are a variety of things we can do here. Levenstein is one of several measures about words. So this is if I find the word reject, and if I have a Levenstein fit within one, then I'm going to accept it. A Levenstein fit is about spelling. So a Levenstein fit of 0 means the exact same word. If I have one letter different, that's a Levenstein distance of 1. If I have two letters different, added or subtracted or changed, Levenstein distance of 2, etc. Maybe on hypothesis, I should accept 2 misspellings. On null, I'll accept 0 misspellings. And maybe here, let's say somebody might say, reject the silly null hypothesis. And I want to be able to accept that. And so instead of Levenstein here, I'm going to say any words. I expect there to be at least one word, because you just wouldn't say reject null hypothesis. But maybe you would. Okay, so 0 to 2 words, let's say. And then I don't need anything here. So right now, this phrase would match anything that's within one misspelling of reject, any words here from 0 to 2 words, null, and then hypothesis. And now let's say we don't want them to say do not reject the null hypothesis. So in front here, I'm going to put a not. Not's a little bit peculiar. I'm going to do a not, and let's see, do not, within maybe 2 words in this direction. See this little arrow? This is a little bit like within 2 words in this direction of this next word. We're going to look for not, and if it's there, we're going to not let this be true. So this is like saying, and I'm going to put a don't in here too. So if I see a don't or if I see a not within 2 words of reject, then I'm upset and I'm false. Okay, so now let's go down here. This is about the feedback. So if our concept reject null validates for true, let's say this, then we will give some good feedback. That's right, reject. Okay, now what if it validates for false? Then I could say, think again about the null hypothesis. And if I wanted to, I could have this additional feedback, and then the neutral sign means it happens, this feedback happens no matter what. As in, it happens whether or not the reject null is true. So maybe I could say, thanks for your answer. That's going to happen either way. All right, so now let's go down and test some. So, hoping this works. Okay. You should reject the null hypothesis. It says true. That's right, reject. Thanks for your answer. Okay, let's put the not in there. And here, you should not reject the null hypothesis. It says, thanks for your answer. You should think again about the null hypothesis. Okay, just took a while to register there. So as we're creating our concept grid, you can see the code that's being created here. There's a not, in the arrow and then the not and don't. And so really this grid is just sort of a user-friendly way to create this large check function. And I think it may be a bug that this string is not being copied down to here properly, but we'll see. Okay, so now we're pretty happy with this. So let's add a new grid. Let's add a new concept called no, there were no significant differences. And this is, I'm going to call this no diff. No diffs. Create this concept. All right, so now here's two concept grids. Now we're going to work on there were no significant differences. So really the essence of this is significant differences. So we definitely want those two, and I could take maybe two typos here, two typos here. Maybe I'm going to accept none. That's probably another template. Maybe I need to allow for any words, maybe 0 to 2 words in here. And Levenstein of 0 for that. I need to really say no. And I think I'll get rid of these, so I don't really care if they say there were, because they might say I found or something like that. Okay, so now down in our feedback table, we have the no diffs. So if reject null is true, and I don't care what no diff says, then I say that's right, reject. If it's not true, I say thinking about the null hypothesis. But and here's thanks for your answer. It always says that. So now let's add one. What if you say rejected, but you don't say no diffs? Then I'm going to say it's correct to reject, but why? And if let's converse, let's go here. If you say there are no significant differences, but you don't talk about reject null hypothesis, then I can say it's true there were no significant differences. What do you conclude from that? Okay, so now let's go down and test. So if I just say this, it's going to say false. Think of a null hypothesis. So maybe I can add to here. And what about significance? No, but no, it'll say that anytime then. Okay, so I'll leave that off. So instead, let's see, you should reject the null hypothesis. Let's try that one. That's right. It's correct. Thanks for your answer. It's correct to reject, but why? So now if I say there were no significant differences, now it's like that's right, reject, thanks for your answer. And I need another one for I don't care what reject null, but if they get the significant differences, I can say indeed there were no differences. Now if I test this, it says that's right, reject, thanks for your answer, indeed there were no differences. So there you go. This is an example of using two different concept grids to give some feedback for students. And in a statistics course that Dr. Steve Blessing taught, he used ConceptGrid, and along with partnering with me and my student, and to create I think it was about 22 concept grids, maybe 23, 24, that covered a large, over 90% of the answers that the students gave in his statistics class. And with those concept grids, we could grade almost identically to a teacher. So that's about concept grids. Thank you. Save and exit.